clear the aisle. Please clear the aisle. Please clear the aisle. This is the highest procession of the Institute. No movement on the aisle, please. As our revered council members make their entrance. Please clear the aisle. Our revered council members, Mr. Larry Isa Onilu, Mr. Jubril Baban Dase, Mrs. Omolara Eboluwa Eso, Mr. Larry Waju Adetoku, Dr. Adewale Oladipo, Mr. Daramola Temitope, Professor Sarah Benjamin, Pastor Paulinus Eyida, Malam Kabir Ali, Comrade Inia Membon, Mrs. Thelma Chika, Hajia Maria Mohammed Sanusi, Brigadier General S.K. Usman, retired. Dr. Saudat Salah brings forward Obi Ozumba, Malam Bashir Adamu Chedi, Professor Kate Azuka Omenuga, Mrs. Olubumi Badejo, Mr. Akin Adbejule, Dr. Sule Yao Sule. Distinguished Vice President Professor Emmanuel S. Dandaura, and the People's President, the President with a capital PR, Dr. Ike Neliako, FNIPR. Thank you. We remain standing for the national anthem. We'll sing the national anthem after 2. 1, 2. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain, to serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Second stanza for prayer. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice reigns. If you say boldly NIPR, take your seats. Boldly NIPR. Thank you. Your Excellencies, very, very distinguished council members, very distinguished fellows of the Institute, distinguished members, elders of the Institute, welcome to this revered session. It is the induction of new members, conferment of regular fellows and honorary fellows. Please give yourselves a round of applause.
Welcome to the outside
It is remarkable because this is the only institute that has
It's a pleasure
professionalism
welcoming you to day 4 of the inaugural NIPR week, holding at the June 12 Cultural Center in Abeokuta, Ogun State. The program continues today with the investiture of honorary fellows, regular fellows, and new members of the NIPR. My name is Funke Ibidamita on the commentary stand, and I will be giving you a blow-to-blow account of events as they unfold here at the June 12 Cultural Center in Abeokuta, Ogun State. I'll quickly tell you here that it's going to be a very interesting outing today with the number of honorary, regular, and induction of new members. Please stay tuned to the service of the Nigerian Television Authority.
But as I mentioned, we begin now as I invite Mr. Registrar to please proceed to the podium for the beginning of the induction ceremony. Please help me welcome Chief Uzoma Onyegbadwe, FNIPR.
Thank you. His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dr. Abiodun, CON, ably represented here. The President, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen gathered here this morning. It's time for us to begin the solemn process of inducting new members into the Institute. But this morning, we'll start by inducting the students as student members. May I please invite Dr. Oludare Oguyombo to come and present the students to Mr. President. Dr. Oguyombo, please.
The President and Chairman of Council, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, all Council members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to present before you 70 students to be inducted as student members of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. If you wish, Mr. President, they are present here student of Chrisland University, Abeokuta, and Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Abeokuta. Please, may I ask the students to please rise as you have been saying here. Please all rise. Mr. President, I present to you these 70 students.
May I, with humility so profound, invite the President and Chairman of Council, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Dr. Ike Neliako, FNIPR, to please proceed to the podium and, as he may wish, induct the students. Mr. President, sir.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Registrar. With the power conferred on me by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations Practitioners Decree 1990, Noun an act of Parliament cited as Cap N 114, Laws of the Federation 2004. I am pleased and delighted to induct members of Nigeria Public Relations Students Body. This confers on you automatic membership of not just the Institute, but the NIPR Young Professionals Hub. So, this is part of the program to build a successful and credible replacement generation of practitioners that we are going to hand over to. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Mr. President. Thank you. Next, we proceed to the induction of new members. The registrar.
Very worthy students, you may sit down, please. Before we move into this segment, may I humbly invite Dr. Andy Iheme, FNIPR, Chairman, Fellowship Advisory Committee, to give an induction and conferment brief. Dr. Iheme, please. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, sir, distinguished members of council, fellows, and members of the Institute. This is the ritual that officially puts you on the list of PR practitioners. It's a very solemn one. You are going to be swearing an oath. That oath binds you. It commits you. It makes you liable. It's the standpoint against which, or is the standard against which your conduct, professional conduct, will be judged. Outside it, you are liable, and it could lead to a situation where you are delisted. So I want us to approach it with all the seriousness it deserves. For the new members coming in, we are going to be swearing to an ethical oath. By the way, there are some factors that separate you from the rest of Nigerians as a professional. Number one, you must have gone through a body of knowledge certified. Two, there must be a register that captures your name. Three, you must swear to an ethical oath. And so this is it. You are now being introduced to a culture that separates you. You wonder why the Igbos break cola when they are getting married. There's nothing wonderful about it, but that's what makes them who they are. You wonder why the Hausas dress the way they are. That's what separates them from the rest of Nigerians. The Yorubas, we have seen the culture yesterday, their direct culture and all that. This is your own culture now you are getting into. So please approach it with all the seriousness and solemnity that it deserves. And I wish you all the best. It's a new level of responsibility. That means certain professional, you are operating within certain professional confines. You can't operate outside it. If you do, you'll be delisted. So please, let's be guided by the laws and everything that governs the Institute. This is as far as the new members are concerned. Mr. Registrar, I don't know, do I talk about that? Okay. For the fellows, the fellowship of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations represents, they are the flagship of the institute. They are, we may call them the institutional memory, those who have served, who have paid their price, and have stayed long enough in the institute to appreciate how the institute functions. It places a huge responsibility upon your shoulders. It means you can't go to every place. You can't talk anyhow. Because sometimes when you talk, some people may mistake it as the voice of the institute. The responsibility, there are some fellows here who took the responsibility of providing the bus, the transportation for their chapters to be here. There are some fellows who decide to pay the registration fee at AGMs for all the members. It places you one step ahead of the others, and it comes with enormous responsibilities. You are the conscience of the institute. You are the grandfather of the institute. Before 2000, the Nigerian Institute of the NIPR used to patronize people with the fellowship. But from the year 2000, we were the guinea pigs. I wrote a project. So for all those who are going to be conferred with fellowship today, I want to assure all here present that the fellowship is earned. The former head of state, General Obasanjo, at a point when he had received several honorary doctorate degrees, was being addressed at a function as Dr. Obasanjo, and he said, please, that one, they dash me. This one, you are not dashed. Your project was scrutinized by a panel of 20 members. In that panel, we have academics, we have lawyers, we have those in the private sector, we have captains of industry, and all of them placed your project under crucible. And what you are seeing today, the gown you are wearing, your radiant faces, is the symbol of your success. This is a good place to clap. So I wish you all the best and welcome you to the club. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Andy Heme, Chairman, Fellowship Advisory Committee. May I quickly invite the Chairman of the Membership Services Committee, Hajia Mariam Sanusi, FNIPR, to please come forward to present candidates for induction. This is a solemn session we are going in, so we attach all seriousness to it. Hajia Mariam Sanusi, please.
Is no other than the inaugural NIPR week. And today, I did say it's a special day for the investiture of honorary fellows, regular fellows, and new members into the NIPR. Interestingly, 17 students of Chrisland University and Moshood Abiola Polytechnic have already been inducted as student NIPR members, and this, according to the NIPR executive, is to allow
council members, revered fellows. Can please associates and members remain standing? Can you stand up, please, and remain standing? Thank you. Mr. President, I hereby present associate members, members. There are 53 in number for them to be inducted. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I wish to seek your permission to administer the NIPR induction oaths on the inductees. Thank you, sir. Please, can you hold your oath form on your left hand and raise your right hand? And so repeat after me. When I say I, you mention your name. I, having been considered for admission into the membership of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, do solemnly affirm to the best of my ability to preserve and defend the bylaws of the Institute and uphold its core ethics and professional standards as approved by the Council, and to also be up to date and as at when due in my financial responsibility to the Institute in order to maintain my status as a member of the Institute. So help me God. So help me God. So help me God. Thank you. The President, Chairman of Council, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, having administered the oath on these inductees, may I humbly invite the President to induct these candidates. Mr. President, sir.
Mr. PR Seated.
Thank you. The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations Practitioners Act, an act to establish the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations Practitioners and to make provisions, amongst other things, for membership and the control of the profession of public relations and for matters connected therewith. Decree 1990, number 16, 1st June 1990, commencement. Noun, an act of National Assembly referred to as Cap N114 Laws of the Federation 2004. There is hereby established a body to be known as Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, with mandate to determine what standards of knowledge and skill are to be attained by persons seeking to become registered members of the public relations profession, and reviewing those standards from time to time as circumstances may permit. Secure, in accordance with the provisions of this Act, the establishment and maintenance of a register of members and associates of the profession and of the public relations practitioners, and the publication from time to time of lists of those persons. Categories of members: graduates, affiliates, students, associates, members, and fellows. Based on the power conferred on me by this Act, I hereby induct members and associates of the Institute into the body of practitioners in accordance with this Act. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It is notable to inform you that two very distinguished persons have also, by this, joined the Institute. They are the Director General of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, very distinguished, Mr. Mohammed Babagana Bulama. Please give him a round of applause. Next is the Ogun State Head of Service, very distinguished, Mr. Kehinde Olufemi Onosoya. Please, a round of applause. Very distinguished NIPR, ANIPR, please be seated, as I now invite the registrar for continuation of proceedings. Before we proceed, all members and associates newly inducted are required to please step up for photograph with Mr. President and Vice President very quickly. Please step up for photograph. An institution revered, known for professionalism and excellence, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Council members are invited.
Amongst those to be honored today with the fellowship is the very distinguished Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Mr. Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembers. Of course, we also have the Chief Executive Officer of Channels Television, Mr. John Momo. Ambassador J. Kepele is also an inductee for the Honorary Fellowship, Reverend Ladi Thompson, and we have a posthumous for Chief Lawrence Scott Emwapo. Amongst the regulars are 16 fellows of the NIPR, including Mrs. Oyinye Raf Nwachukwu, Mr. Benedict Ona Okache, Mrs. Grace Omotere Ayola, Mrs. Rose Honorary Anthony, Dr. Adetunji Oluwasegun Adeleye, Dr. Mowumi Omojola Awolusi, Architect Jonas Agu, Dr. Obina Friday Nwachukwu, Dr. Monday Chinedu Ashibogu, and Mr. Yusuf Muazu.
Please take your seats. Our revered council members.
Right now, you're watching the
Please take
picture
your seats.
of those who have just been conferred as regular fellows by the president of NIPR, Dr. Ike Ndeako, president and chairman and council of the NIPR. The new inductees have just taken the photograph with the executives of the NIPR. Need I tell you that 53 members have just been newly inducted as associate members of the NIPR. With the theme, leveraging public relations as critical asset for Nigeria's economic and reputation renaissance.
If you permit, can I call them up, sir? For the conferment of regular fellows of the Institute, we have Mrs. Onyinye Raf Nwachukwu. Can you please come up? We have Mr. Benedict Ona Okache. We have Mrs. Grace Ometere Ayola. Ms. Onyinye Raf Nwachukwu is of Abuja chapter. Mr. Benedict Ona Okache is the chairman of Cross River State chapter. And we have one of the Amazons in our midst, Mrs. Grace Ometere Ayola of the FCT chapter, the Numero Uno chapter. May I please humbly call Mrs. Rose Oriara Anthony, the Secretary of the Independent National Electoral Commission. She's of the FCT chapter. Next is Dr. Adetunji Oluwaseun Adeleye. Round of applause for him. Next in line is the one most people know as Oga Driver, Assistant Corps Marshal Jonas Agu. We'll have Dr. Obinna Friday Nwachukwu, the Editor-in-Chief of National Staff. Can we also have on the podium Dr. Monday Michaels Chinedu Ashibogu. Can we please welcome Mrs. Grace Ladi Samani. May I also invite to the podium to be conferred with the man that will be conferred with fellowship of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Mr. Yusuf Muazu. We also have a comrade amongst them, Comrade Lovett Chisa Ekwemalo. There's a handsome young man with white beard just like me, Dr. Chijoke Kinsley Okadike. Please come to the podium. Can we also have one of the veterans in our midst? Miss Sir Oluwole Falodu. The last for today, but not the least, a man with so much energy to make things happen is Mr. Sonny Adejo Baba. Sorry, let's have Dr. Omowumi Omojola Awosusi. Thank you, Dr. Sonny Baba. Dr. Awosusi, please. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. I can see you're wearing spies, you know. So, Mr. President, sir, please permit me to invite you to confer on these candidates the fellowship of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Mr. President.
Mr. Registrar, it's important you tell members the chapters each fellow represents. We don't pick our fellows from the skies. They represent chapters because they emerge from chapters. So please brief us.
Dr. Awosusi, okay, who allow them present their chapters.
I represent Ekiti State chapter. I'm Dr. Omowumi Omojola Awosusi, Ekiti State.
I am Sir Oluwole Falodun, representing the Lagos State chapter.
I am Dr. Sunday Adejo Baba, representing the FCT chapter.
I am Dr. Chijioke Okadike, representing the Cross River State chapter.
Yusuf Moazu, FCT chapter.
I am Grace Ladi Zamani, FCT chapter.
I am Dr. Monday Michael Sashibogu, Lagos chapter.
I'm Obinna Nwachukwu, FCT. Assistant Corps Marshal Jonas Agu, FCT.
Adetunji Adeleye from Osun State.
Dr. Rosary and Anthony, FCT chapter.
Grace Ayola, FCT chapter.
Okache Benedict Ona, Cross River State chapter.
Onyinye Ralph Nwachukwu, God's own state, Abia State chapter.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, sir.
Thank you. I would like to particularly draw the attention of everybody here to Mr. Falodu. Sir Oluwole Falodu, a distinguished practitioner who was given a service medal by the Archbishop of Canterbury for being his protocol and public relations officer when he visited many years ago, in 1982 to be precise. He has been one of the elders of this profession, spanning over decades. Today, as part of the new dawn of recognizing those who have worked for this institute, but for some reason or the other, did not reach the peak of the career or the ranking of the institute, we are rectifying these things, and this is why he's here with us, having served. Congratulations. It's now my honor and privilege to bring you, because you are not inducted, you are conferred. You're already senior practitioners and senior members. I have the honor, in line with the act of the Institute, to confer on you the highest rank of the Institute, and to declare, I haven't declared, and to declare you as, in recognition of all the things you have done, and in celebration of what you are yet to do. Because to whom much is given, much is expected. As a fellow, you are not to collect our fellowship and run away. You will find in your folder a beautiful letter signed by the president telling you that your fellowship is for a probationary period of 2 years, after which the chairman of your chapter will write a report on your performance and how you have worked closely with the chapter. It is after that that council will now give final ratification to your fellowship. Council is authorized by the act to make laws and unmake laws. Therefore, council that confers fellowship has a right to withdraw fellowship. We don't want you to be bigger than the chapter. We want you to be part of the service to the chapter. It's on this basis that I'm excited to confer on you, knowing that you are going to serve. I confer on you fellowship of the Institute.
We'll call you now one after the other for president to decorate you, and you collect your certificates. First is, in no particular order, Jonas Agu. Next is, please, if you are decorated, you step down and wait for photograph. Yusuf Mwazu. DPR, help our daddy, our dear Sir Oluwole Falodun. Help him to Next is Monday Asibogu. I should say FNIPR or I should wait? I should say, okay. Okay, FNIPR. Remember, I'm the first to call you properly as FNIPR. Go to the president after that. Mondays. DPR, you still have that down? Okay, DPR.
The picture, but they don't look so nice, please.
Next is Obinna Friday Wachuku. Next,
Daddy will remain up. We are not going. Sit down, man. We have people to help him in Ghana. Please stay with him.
Next is Grace Ladi Zamani. She will be followed by Robert Chisa Ekwemalo. Next will be Dr. Chijoke Kingsley Ukadike. All of you FNIPR attached as office. Then Mrs. Onye Patricia Ralph Wachuku, FNIPR. You can keep the club going. They work for this. It wasn't easy. They have been invited into the upper room. Next is Rose Oriara Anthony.
What's that? Where's your Yeso? I hope you didn't give somebody. Okay. Where's her? Check the name, please. Registrar assist.
That tells you that my sister deserves double FNIPR, but it's not available in her act. She still has one and is very solid. Grace Ometere Ayola. Next is a friend.
Sir, you can still get a camera. But photo behind, let them do it. Yes.
Next is the man who, as director in the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, worked very closely with the president to deliver the much desired categorization. Mr. Sonny Adejo Baba, please let's give him a double round of applause. Dr. Sonny Baba Adejo. He was there supporting the minister, supporting the president and council, and that was how we got that victory with the resolution from the council on establishment. Next is Adetuji Oluwasegun Adele, Doctor.
NIPR, arrange them. They cannot block the president at this point. Please, you can transfer some to the other wing so that the middle is clear.
Next is Mr. Benedict Ona Okache, Chairman, Cross River Chapter. Registrar. Next is Dr. Omowumi Omojola, FNIPR, a seasoned former registrar and strong contributor as member, now fellow of the institute. Thank you.
Vice President. It is the echelon. The echelon of this. When troops are formed, ships, aircrafts, vehicles, they stand in rows. They stay on powerful levels. Your Excellencies, distinguished professionals, standing before you is the upper echelon of the Institute, fellows of the great professional institute, now to be known and cited as FNIPR. A round of applause is appropriate. Council members take their position for photograph, led by Mr. President, and all members and associates look forward to getting to the echelon. That is the pinnacle of the Institute. In every chapter, they sit special, they are revered. They maintain professionalism and excellence and ensure the practice of the profession is done aright. Another round of applause for our distinguished fellows, newly inducted. And permit me to ask all the fellows in the house to rise for special recognition. All fellows, wherever you are, here they are. Fellows of the Institute, from the north, south, east, west, from all over Nigeria. Please do give them a distinguished applause. Please be seated. Special recognition of Kabisi Hastro.
Talking about the fellowship of the NIPR. Amongst them is a very distinguished veteran, Mr. Oluwole Falodun, and of course, so many others from across the country. I did tell you that it's an epoch-making occasion here, and it will remain indelible in the minds of many NIPR members who are opportune to be part of this memory lane. NIPR, if I may say, was established in 1963 as the Public Relations Association of Nigeria, and in 1972 it metamorphosed into Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR. NIPR registers members regulates the practice and development of public relations profession, and monitors professional conduct through established code of conduct regime. Need I tell you that some of the objectives of the NIPR is to promote, develop the art and science of public relations practice in Nigeria, to establish and prescribe, as well as ensure the observance of high standards of professional and ethical standards in Nigeria.
Please be seated.
The NIPR prides itself as having attained these objectives over the years. Let me once again remind you that following the conferment of regular fellowship, we are also going to be witnessing today the conferment of honorary fellowship. One of the recipients of this honorary fellowship is no other than the Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Comrade Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos. He will be receiving this honorary fellowship amongst other distinguished Nigerians, talking about the Chief Executive Officer of Channels Television, Mr. John Momo, Ambassador Jake Epele, the one who is noted for being a voice for the people with a different skin in Nigeria, talking about the albinos. We also have Reverend Laddie Thompson and a posthumous going to Chief Lawrence Scott Emwapo.
The conferment of honorary fellowship of distinguished Nigerians, so selected by the Council of the Nigerian School of Public Relations. Mr. President, please. Can I go on, sir? Thank you, sir. So we now move on to the segment where Mr. President will confer honorary fellowship on the following individuals. We'll call them one after the other. They'll stand. Their citations will be read. Then Mr. President will do the needful. We want to start on a very solemn note to call on the representative of Chief Lawrence Enameroho Scott Emwapo to the podium, please. And while the representative is coming, may I invite Dr. Tope Ojeme as a voice of the Institute to read the citation.
May the representative of Chief Scott Emwapo please come up the podium. Chief Lawrence Eraho Scott Emwapo was born on the 5th of January 1929 in today's Ughelli North local government area of Delta State. Chief Scott's career in the world of public relations started in 1953. From 1960, he had at various times held positions. He held positions of Federal Director of Information. He was also Director of Public Affairs at the National Assembly. That was from 1981 to 1984. He was designer and coordinator of publicity of federal campaigns. He worked for various important organizations, including the Ministry of Information, News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, Voice of Nigeria, VON, Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, National Archives, Nigeria Press Council, amongst others. Distinguished council members, Mr. President, very, very distinguished professionals, I present to you the recipients of posthumous honorary fellowship of the NIPR, Chief Scott Abeokuta. Mr. Registrar.
Thank you, Dr. Jeme. May I invite another recipient of this honor, the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Mr. Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos. Dr. Jeme, please.
Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, very, very distinguished man par excellence, Director General of Africa's largest television network. Born 27th August 1960, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos is a results-driven professional with a progressive management career, over 35 years diverse experience in broadcasts and marketing services. He attended Kaduna Polytechnic, where he read marketing. Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, he obtained postgraduate diploma. He has several other academic qualifications. Dembos is a veteran in the broadcast industry. Vast experience, including television and radio program concept development, design, production, marketing, and management. A hard-working Nigerian, diligent, a man who sees nothing but delivering excellence at all times. Since he joined the Nigerian Television Authority, the largest TV network in Africa, he has rose through the ranks and held various positions. And today, he is Director General of the NTA, as conferred by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Additionally, he resolved to move on, and in October 2023, Dembos was elected as the chairman, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, where he has continually provided developmental advisory to the federal and state government on broadcast matters. As chairman, he has consistently ensured cooperation and collaboration among broadcasting organizations, while also promoting professional standards and ethics. Mr. President, very distinguished council members, fellows, and distinguished professionals, I present to you for honorary fellowship of the NIPR, DG Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos.
Mr. President, sir, may I invite Ambassador Jake Epele to the podium as a recipient of the Honorary Fellowship of the Nigerian Center of Public Relations.
Yes, sir. Jake Epele, an advocate for able people who some think are disabled. He is a person with disability champion, currently serves as CEO, founder of TAF Africa. He is a global disability rights advocate for persons with disability and other marginalized groups. The gentleman you see is a champion, a UN albinism champion, and was designated a human rights defender by the French and German governments in December 2021. In recognition of his selfless contributions to the advancement of the rights of persons with disability, he's
the advocate for disability, chief executive and founder of TAF Africa.
Your Excellencies, distinguished professionals, as earlier mentioned, Jake Epele is a person with disability champion, largely responsible for the introduction of free skin cancer treatment by the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Epele is former seasoned broadcaster and has used his profound experience in influencing policies and discussions in the public space to further his passionate advocacy for quality and affordable healthcare facilities. Mr. President, distinguished council members, fellows of the Institute, distinguished professionals, and guests, I present to you for honorary fellowship of NIPR, Mr. Jake Epele, the champion, lights himself.
Mr. President, sir, may I calmly introduce the next person. I'll bring down my tone so that it won't be interpreted as violent communication. May I please invite Reverend Laddie Thompson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Distinguished. Reverend Laddie Peter Thompson, or Ladimeji Peter Thompson, born 21st August 1961 in Lagos, Nigeria, a trailblazer in the unfolding Nigerian Renaissance. He attended the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where he obtained his first and second degrees, 1983 and 85 respectively, all in architecture. An accomplished security research consultant who understands the architecture of Nigeria, including when the light goes off and when it comes back. Erudite, innovative, he has been a pivotal figure in various initiatives, including pioneering an NGO of notable stature, the Macedonian Initiative NGO. He is also one of the brains behind Men of Destiny Foundation, an initiative focused on providing support for the families of policemen slain in the course of duty, as well as several other initiatives. As a clergyman, Reverend Thompson has shown his dedication to peace building and humanitarian work, particularly through various programs. He is recognized in Nigeria, Africa, and globally. He maintains that while leadership is important, effective communication is the tool that leaders use to achieve their goals. He believes that the official adoption of an indigenous version of non-violent communication, such as the one with which and the tone with which I read his citation, is the right way to go. Thompson's visionary disposition extends beyond religious and national borders. Tolerant, inclusive, peaceful, a great man of excellence. He addressed global and national platforms, including that of the prestigious Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Mr. President, very distinguished council members, fellows, and members of this profession, I present to you for honorary fellowship of NIPR, Reverend Laddie Peter the Rock Thompson. Mr. Registrar.
Mr. President, sir, may I please invite you to confer on these distinguished Nigerians the Honorary Fellowship of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Okay, please can the son of Chief Scott Emakwo, Barrister Alex Emakwo, accompanied by the sister to the chief, proceed to receive the posthumous honorary fellowship to Chief Scott Emakwo.
On behalf of the leadership of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, we wish to recognize the immense work done by your brother when he was with us as a public relations brother, and Mama's brother for the great work he did for public relations in Nigeria.
Next is the Director General of NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos.
May I invite the immediate past president of the Institute to join me at this point. Once a president, always a president. So you join me in doing this one. Congratulations again.
Members of the NTA family are quickly invited to take a picture. Okay, not yet, not yet.
May I invite Ambassador Jake Epele.
Congratulations, Ambassador Jake. Pele.
Thank you. May we now have Reverend Ladi Thompson, please.
Revered Honorary Fellowship of the NIPR. Give them a round of applause. Our very distinguished council members are invited now for photograph. We will take the photograph in phases and very quickly. Council members alone to join Mr. President and Vice. Council members, quickly. Afterwards, all fellows should please prepare to join for photograph. The NTA contingent, led by our very distinguished Executive Director, should stand by. Will be called shortly. Fellows may step up now. All fellows, please step up quickly. All fellows, quickly, please. Quickly. Right behind. All fellows, quickly. The Director General of the FRCN is invited to join, and the very distinguished Ogun State Head of Service is invited. Thank you very much. The chairman of the LOC.
All beautifully decorated as honorary fellowship members of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. We say a very big congratulations to all one posthumous and of course 4 sitting honorary fellowship members, including our very own Director General, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Comrade Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos. In a very short while, Comrade Dembos will be receiving on behalf of the other honorees who will be appreciating the NIPR in a response for the great honor done him, and not only him but the entire largest television network in Africa, talking about the Nigerian Television Authority. Honorees there, dressed very colorful, beautiful,
While they return,
with members of Council of the NIPR.
With the Director General of the NTA. This has to be done very quickly. The NTA family, quickly, while they return. The NTA family, very quickly. The NTA family,
yes, the NTA family there, joining the Director General NTA to rejoice on this very wonderful fellowship that he has just received from the NIPR. Executive Director News, Mr. Ayo Adewuye. Director News, Hajia Halima Musa, and other very powerful delegates from the NTA headquarters are all here in Abeokuta to witness and rejoice with the Director General of the NTA.
thank you very much, the NTA family. Let me quickly announce that our very distinguished global president of APRA, recipients. Please be seated. Please be seated. While Mr. President takes some pictures, dedicated pictures, please listen to the following announcements. Shortly, the Director General of the NTA will respond on behalf of the inductees. While we get set for that response, I now invite to speak on behalf of the award recipients, Honorary Fellowship, NIPR, DG Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos. Please a round of applause for him.
Mr. President, council members, fellows, associates, and all other protocols duly observed. I feel highly delighted and honored to be called upon to speak on behalf of other awardees with fellowship of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. For us, we feel very honored, and I think this is a call for more work and dedication. And on behalf of the entire awardees, I would like to assure the NIPR of our total support. And of course, I want to assure you too that we will live by example. We will be good ambassadors of the Institute. And of course, we have had the brief on the needs and overall requirements for people that have been honored with such an honor. So we'll take that home, and in our various workplace, we'll do everything possible to make sure that we exhibit nothing but excellence. And for me personally, I think this is a call for more action. And I want to promise you all that we will not let you down. Once again, on behalf of the entire awardees, we say a very big thank you to the entire council members led by the president for considering us for this award. And we wish the entire institute progress and God blessings. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please do give him another round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. Honorary Fellowship of the NIPR, and may I add, distinguishedly, of the Numero Uno Chapter FCT. If you are FCT, say boldly, public relations. This is an announcement specifically for the FCT, and permit me to make this announcement quickly as the PRO of the FCT chapter. All members of the FCT contingent are reminded that there will be a quick photograph of the chapter members immediately after this session. We're also all reminded, this is for everyone now, that the AGM will be coming up immediately, and it will not be as long as you may think it will be. The AGM begins immediately. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I want to invite the People's President, the man who's given NIPR, along with the revered council, a great and new status. Help me welcome for his speech, Mr. PR President, Dr. Ike Neliaku. Please a round of applause as he comes up. Mr. President, you need to continue clapping. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, fellows of the Institute, elders of the Institute, members of the Institute, associates of the Institute, students of the Institute, it's my pleasure to once more welcome you all to this segment of our program. This is my report. Today marks a great day in the annals of our institute, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, as it presents stock of activities since its inception of this current council, exactly on the 25th of August 2023. That is 8 months ago, precisely. The emergence of the current council came with the proclamation of the mantra, New Dawn, which is a promise to initiate and deploy a fresh dimension of utilizing the hidden potentials and abundant skills identified within the institute and the profession. I must submit that as president and chairman of council, it has been a privilege to lead a team of esteemed council members on a mission to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and excellence in the field of public relations. I would like to use this opportunity to thank members again for giving me the opportunity to serve in this capacity as your 15th president. I will not fail to thank my predecessor, Malam Mukhtar Sirajo, FNIPR, and other past presidents and council members of the Institute for the foundation they laid, upon which we now build. Continuing on the efforts of previous councils, we have moved from a solid foundation to building an ecosystem where every practitioner will have the opportunity to contribute and earn the shared glory of a befitting institute. The council under my leadership set forth at dawn through the formation of 5 council work teams with various terms of references focusing on repositioning of the National Secretariat, collation and harmonization of all campaign promises so that we can fashion an effective work process for the current council. The outcome of this thorough exercise propelled the design and pursuit of vigorous programs and activities which resulted to the upliftment of the practice, the profession, and the institute. This report is presented in 4 parts as follows. Part 1, ideological and philosophical framework of our activities. Part 2, programs and activities. Part 3, future forward. And part 4, conclusion. Part 1, to successfully implement our programs, we needed to first create the right mindset and understanding that will give us the ideological and philosophical framework to operate. This framework formed the approaches we have adopted in running the institute in the last 8 months. 1 is the big family approach, consolidation, not opposition. Prior to our council election in 2023, the candidates met at Abuja on Wednesday, 23rd August, to agree to work together as a team in the best interest of the institute. We agreed that we desire to add value to the institute, hence our decisions to contest the election in the first place. To that end, we saw the need to consolidate our ideas and efforts into a single document and galvanize our efforts to work as a team under G29 platform, irrespective of the outcome of the election. Distinguished colleagues, I am glad to announce that we have since incorporated this policy into our operational framework, deploying talents of Team G29 members according to capacities and competencies. We will continue to improve on this leadership model as we move forward in running the affairs of the institute. Number 2, value mantra approach. As part of building momentum to drive the New Dawn agenda, we introduced a value mantra intended to set a form of mechanism to weigh the value the institute should derive from every engagement. We therefore said that for the Institute to participate or engage in anything, we must have professional value, we must have reputation value, and we must have financial value. If these three values, at least two of them, are not in place, we have no business with such a venture. Number three, enterprise approach. We believe that the Institute should be run as an enterprise to apply creativity, deploy innovation, ensure more prudence, expand our revenue base, streamline operational structure, inspire and motivate staff to work as entrepreneurs. This is aimed at transforming the Institute from being perceived as poor and inorganic to the mindset and reputation of a wealthy and well-run organization. These have become our foundational truths that guide our leadership and governance. We will continue to improve on them as we move forward. Number four, relevance approach. It is important that we do everything possible to create relevance for our profession. This comes by conscious and deliberate thoughts with actions. We should run our organization from the mindset of creating relevance in society, because society is looking for those that create relevance, not those that become liabilities, but those who are assets. NIPR is an asset to the nation. Number five, inclusive approach. We believe that every professional public relations practitioner has something to offer the Institute. Accordingly, we have to make conscious efforts to identify talents within us and deploy such talents and resources to where they are strong. These include partnering with our members and empowering them to become assets to the Institute. You will agree with me that this has been largely demonstrated with the ongoing Nigeria Public Relations Week. We identified Chief Yomi Badejo Okusanya, somebody who has done this for APRA, African Public Relations Association, and we invited him to come and repeat the process. Has it not worked? Is it not working? So we must identify our members and deploy them to help us. I now come to part two, programs and activities. Number one, placement of public relations in the scheme of service in the Federation, otherwise known as cadreization. The Council has achieved the long-desired placement of public relations in the scheme of service through the approval of redesignation of Information Officer Cadre, known as Information and Public Relations Officer Cadre. This runs from grade level 08 to 17, and their executive counterparts, known as Information and Public Relations Executive Officers, will be from grade level 6 to 14. This was done by the National Council on Establishments at its 45th meeting held from 11th to 13th December 2023 in Bauchi. This was immediately followed by a circular issued by the head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, on 21st March 2024 with reference number HCSF SPSP ODD CND 100/S.1/196, in case you want to confirm, and taking effect from 13th December 2023, the date of council approval. The implication is that public relations has now been fully recognized and cadreized in public service. We will continue to follow up on the implementation of the circular at federal, state, and local government levels. Distinguished professional colleagues, Our collective efforts made this feat possible after about 17 years of struggle. We will continue to express gratitude to our Supervising Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris Malagi, fellow NIPR, who facilitated this splendid victory for us. We will also express our appreciation to the Categorization Committee led by Mrs. Olubimi Badejo, Fellow of the Institute, our Council member, Dr. Sonny Baba, now Fellow of the Institute, who led the team of Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation to Bauchi, the leadership of NIPR Bauchi State Chapter, especially Council member Rabiu Ali Kobi, Fellow Andy Iheme, Fellow Kabiru Garba Aminu, and then State Chairman and their colleagues in the chapter. We give God all the glory for this landmark achievement. Number 2, from finishing school to public relations university. Distinguished colleagues, in our drive to equip practitioners with the required skill sets and deepen their knowledge and practice in an ever-changing environment, Council approved the establishment of Nigeria Public Relations Finishing School. For better understanding, the school is styled in the model of the Nigeria Law School and will serve as a bridge to producing thoroughbred practitioners and certified professionals. I am delighted to report that His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, the visionary governor of Nasarawa State, was very fast in grabbing this opportunity. He wrote the Institute on 12th April 2024, via a letter referenced GHL CORR SVOL 1/1 to indicate interest of Nasarawa State Government to host the finishing school with the following commitments. Number 1, to provide the land for the siting of the school at no cost to the institute. Number 2, to pay in full all dues relating to the land. And number 3, to process and hand over the certificate of occupancy for the land. A copy of the letter from Nasarawa State Government is at the National Secretariat for citing. We will now make it a library document, and that at the appropriate time, it becomes a museum piece. Let me also inform our dear colleagues that the finishing school, which will be the first in Africa, is a precursor towards our plan to establishing the Public Relations University of Nigeria, which will be the first in the world. At its 109th meeting on 14th April 2024, Council considered and accepted the offer by Nasarawa State Government, having become the best offer received. We are encouraged by the enthusiasm expressed about both the finishing school and the university by our vast pool of human and material resources at home, in the diaspora, and our international affiliations. I am glad to announce that the Global Alliance for Public Relations and Communications outfits all over the world has bought into this vision and has made a commitment that every graduate from our finishing school and our university will be recognized across the globe. Number 3, digital transformation. Recognizing the importance of digital communication in today's landscape, the need to largely migrate our operations online to serve the increasing population of practitioners through a medium wholly owned and hosted by the Institute became necessary. This, the Institute and the current Council embarked upon with our new website, www.niprng.org, You can visit the website and actually see that one of the matters we are taking at this AGM is already on website, and that is the issue of amendment of bylaw number 2. This has come into use, the website, on February 29, 2024. The process of optimizing the value from the digital transformation program is on a steady rise and will feature seamless delivery of membership services like upgrading, recertification, payment of services, registration for mandatory continued professional development programs, exams, training and conferences. The Council is grateful to the team led by Professor Uche Mbanason, a professor of cybersecurity, and Mr. Tosin Ibalawole, an ICT expert, who are rendering their professional expertise on pro bono as their contribution to the growth of the Institute. We are also grateful to the Vice President and Chairman, Education Advisory Board, Professor Dan Daura, who has been driving this process and putting me under pressure. Number 4, initiating and institutionalizing the National Spokesperson Summit. The need to build a nation where all will be proud of comes with deep responsibilities and commitments towards shaping the various narratives associated with it. To this end, we held the first National Spokesperson Summit on the 26th and 27th of March 2024 at the International Conference Center, Abuja. Spokespersons now have a platform to look forward to every year for peer review, sharing of knowledge, networking, and so on. Again, we appreciate our minister for his support, and particularly to the Chairman, National Planning Committee, Dr. Suleya Usule, his members, and all the other distinguished colleagues that keyed into this project. Establishment of NIPR hubs is number 5. We saw the need to establish specialized and focal areas as a deliberate strategy and seeking to deploy public relations in assisting to address critical challenges facing the various sectors of the economy. To this end, the following hubs have been established. Energy, comprising oil and gas hub with location in Port Harcourt. 2, enterprise hub with location in Lagos. 3, maritime hub with location in Lagos. 4, aviation hub with location in Lagos. 5, banking, insurance, finance and pension hub with location in Lagos. Anti-corruption and consumer protection hub with location in Abuja. Young professionals hub with location in Abuja. The aim is to use PR to advance business and economic environment. The operational details of this is being concluded so that they can take off effectively this year. Young Professionals Hub, as you are aware, this was unveiled on Tuesday to give a platform for young people to be able to pursue a meaningful career in public relations. The Young Professionals Hub now takes effect. We have an interim steering committee putting their thoughts together under the supervision of Education Advisory Board. 7, inclusive and delegated leadership. For us to realize all these programs and attain the enviable height we desire for the Institute, all hands are now on deck to contribute to progressive navigation. To this end, Council approved the constitution of several committees with terms of references aimed at achieving several tasks almost at the same time. Collaboration and partnerships, number 8. We have fostered strategic partnership with professional bodies, government agencies, and industry organizations to advance the objectives of NIPR. To this end, We have signed memoranda of understanding with the following organizations: Development Spec Academy on Rebirth Nigeria campaign. It's a value reorientation campaign. Rebirth means reinventing the essence, the beauty, integrity, resourcefulness, tradition, and heritage of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Number 2, Image Merchants Promotion Limited to partner in organizing the 4th Annual Spokespersons Awards, which held in March. Number 3, Enentis Communication Limited for marketing of advert spaces in the 2024 Register of Members publication. I am delighted to announce that with this creativity, the second edition of our Register of Members is in place, and by the grace of God will be unveiled here. And we printed it at no cost to the Institute because the marketing consultant was able to raise the money that is required. This is how it should be. Furthermore, efforts at fostering strategic partnership with the media have yielded great dividends in the aggregation of organizations partnering in promoting NIPR programs. Worthy of mention are Nigerian Television Authority, DAC Communication PLC, owners of African Independent Television and Ray Power, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, National Orientation Agency, Voice of Nigeria, Channels Television. On this note, I would like to extend our profound gratitude to the AIT and NTA for giving us live coverage during the opening ceremony on Tuesday, and more particularly to the Nigerian Television Authority for giving us live coverage for this event. Mr. DG and Chairman of BON, we appreciate you because you understand the importance of communicating to the society. This is something that we really appreciate. Discussions at different levels to also enter into collaboration and partnerships with the following organizations: Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Independent National Electoral Commission, Nigerian Guild of Editors, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Guild of Certified Online Publishers, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria. We look forward to deepening these relationships and securing new collaborations and partnerships. Members are encouraged to take advantage of this window and initiate viable collaborations and partnerships with their institutes. Number 9, introduction of more legacy lecture series. While we continue to celebrate Dr. Sam Epele Gold Paper Lecture, named after our founding president, the Council has identified and commenced more legacy lecture series as part of adding value to society. To this end, His Majesty Obi Ndemeka Alfred Achebe National Peace and Reconciliation Annual Lecture has been instituted. The first edition was organized in partnership with Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University in Anambra State on the 5th of October 2023. I would like to commend the leadership and members of Anambra State Chapter of the Institute for initiating the lecture series and organizing the inaugural edition. Council also approved to institute and host the His Highness Aminu Ado Bayero National Integration Annual Lecture Series, with the maiden edition to hold in Kano State in the month of October 2024. The details are being coordinated by the ranking council member from Kano, Dr. Sule Yao Sule. It is gladdening to note, distinguished colleagues, that both Obi Achebe, who is the current Obi of Onisha, and Eme Bayero are fellow and member of the Institute respectively. Professional development. We have continued our commitment to enhancing the professional development of our members through various training programs, workshops, conferences, and seminars that we are initiating. We'll continue with this process. Number 11, special training of ECOWAS executive and staff in communication department. I am happy to report that the Institute facilitated a special training for the entire ECOWAS executive from the President of the Commission to line staff in charge of communication on strategic communication. This training was supported by the United States Embassy in Abuja, and the feedbacks are quite encouraging. I would like to thank our member, Aisha Gambari, for initiating this process alongside those who worked with her. Annual Directors Conference and Retreat number 12. The Annual Directors Conference and Retreat has been moving from level to level. The 9th edition will come in November 2024. I am delighted to appreciate the immense contributions of our Amazon, Mrs. Nkechi Alebalogu, FNIPR, for her efforts in helping to build and nurture the brand. MCPD. The MCPD training has continued to serve as a great means of retooling our practitioners. Distinguished colleagues, as the name implies, practitioners are expected to participate in at least one MCPD per year. In the period under review, a total number of 252 practitioners participated in MCPD sessions as shown below. Virtual 84, October 2023, 57, December 2023, Police Public Relations Conference, 51 of them, December 2023, virtual again 38, February 6, 2024, and 42 in March 12, 2024. It is important to re-emphasize that we need to continue to equip and re-equip ourselves. Membership. We have pursued with vigor the issue of membership in such a way that very old members whose debt stock in subscription kept them away from participating in activities of the Institute. We had to offer them a waiver for 3 years in lieu of their indebtedness. This waiver program officially lasted from October to December 2023 and was effectively utilized by 166 practitioners, with some having their induction dating far back as 1987. It was a harvest of veterans and an enriching reunion to the fold. Within this period under review, new members have been inducted through direct admission and a masterclass program designed for candidates that have practiced public relations for over 7 years. I'm delighted to announce that about 596 new members have joined the Institute since inception of the current council. And below are the details, but let me save you the time. Fellowship upgrade. The Fellowship Advisory Committee held a screening exercise on the 15th of April 2024. The result you have already seen here, so let me move to the next one. Introduction of life membership annual subscription and review of masterclass fee. Council at its 109th meeting of 14th April 2024 considered and approved the introduction of life membership subscription and review of masterclass fee. Presented below are the council approvals which we hope to be ratified at this General Assembly. Life membership above 70 years. Henceforth, any member that is now 70 years and above is free from all subscriptions. In addition, they will not pay to participate in any program of the Institute. Because having served the Institute, this is the least we can give to them as our veterans. We have now also created another rank. Those above 50 years can now take a life membership by paying a single fee of 500,000 naira. Once you do this, nobody will disturb you again to pay membership due. Number 3, those who are less than 50 years are expected to pay 1 million naira for them to take life membership subscription. Imagine if you are 25 years and you pay 1 million, that means between now and 70 years, you will no longer pay subscription fee. New masterclass fee. As a result of the current market forces, Council has approved that with effect from today, the cost of our masterclass will now be 400,000 naira, plus 20,000 naira membership fee. This is as a result of the reality of the economic situation in the country, where we have to increase the cost of what we are doing. You must have seen the quality of certificates being given out. You have seen the quality of events being organized. You have seen the quality. Those who participated in the last master class will record the quality of resource persons that came in to train you. When you don't invest in the quality of your trainers, trainees will be shortchanged, and we are very conscious of this. To enhance service delivery at the National Secretariat, Council advertised and employed more staff. And I'm glad to announce that today we have a Director of Public Relations, Mr. Stanley Ogadigo, who comes with a wealth of experience as a consummate public relations practitioner. But more importantly is to note his sacrifice. Stanley resigned his lucrative job in the Corporate Communication Division of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company to become Director of Public Relations. The salary he's earning now is 1/3 of what he was earning at NNPC. But because of the passion for his profession, he decided to do this, and I think he should be commended. We have also appointed other people. We now have a Director, Business Development for Lagos National Office. If we are going to situate the enterprise hub in Lagos, then it means that Lagos has to be run as a business development office. We have others, ICT, and so on and so forth. Of course, a copy of this report is in the program that will be circulated very shortly. Diamond Anniversary Celebration. Dear colleagues, I met somebody 2 weeks ago who said she thought that NIPR was only 5 years because they just approved cadreization. So she thought it was a new thing following. When I told her that we will be 61 years this year, she almost jumped out of her seat because she realized that NIPR is her senior. As a result of this, we have put in place a robust program to celebrate our Diamond Anniversary in the month of June 2024. The VP is handling this, and sometime in this AGM, he will brief us on the programs. Chapter relations and resuscitation of dormant chapters. We've done so much in this area to ensure that chapters that are dormant are resuscitated. I'm glad that Nasarawa State is now up and running under the leadership of Controller of Customs retired Joseph Atta, Fellow of the Institute. Elections were conducted in 11 state chapters within this period to usher in new executives to take up new tenures. Appreciation of state governments. Council would like to use this opportunity to sincerely appreciate the government and people of Nasarawa State under the leadership of His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi Sule, not just for giving us land, but for approving that Nasarawa State Chapter should be allocated 1 million naira every month for running the affairs of the chapter. It is very clear that this governor understands public relations. And the natural thing is for us to note that to whom much is given, much is expected. He has given us so much, now we have to demonstrate our appreciation. Again, I would like to thank those who made this possible. Malam Yakubu Lamai, DG Strategic Communication to the governor, and the new elected chairman of the chapter, and then of course our vice president who is from Nasarawa State. Council is also very, very appreciative to the government and people of Kwara State under the leadership of His Excellency Alhaji Abdurrahman Abdurazak, Chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum, for his support and willingness to partner with the Institute. He not only accepted to chair the maiden National Spokesperson Summit, but also supported the summit with a sum of 10 million naira. We deeply appreciate the efforts of the leadership of NIPR in Kwara State, especially our council member, Professor Saudat Abdulbagri, Mrs. Bola Olukoju, Honorable Commissioner for Information, Fellow Rahim Adedoyin, Fellow Saudu Salahu, and all their colleagues for doing this. Mention must at this point be made also, very specially, of the newest patron of the Institute, His Excellency Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun, CON, Governor of Ogun State. We appreciate his support towards hosting the maiden edition of Nigeria Public Relations Week, particularly for supporting the Ogun State chapter with office accommodation and a bus for operations of the chapter. He didn't end there. I am glad to announce that he also supported the hosting of this program, the week, with a sum of 10 million naira. Somebody was whispering to me, Mr. President, why are you declaring all these things? I said we are running a transparent government. Anybody that gives us, we will say it publicly so that you can also track the spending, because we are not prepared to chop your money. Compliance and enforcement. Dear colleagues, we are gathered here today barely 8 months into the life of this council to witness another annual general meeting. This is so because the current council is determined to adhere strictly to the dictates of our enabling law, which stipulates that annual general meetings of the Institute should hold in the month of April. We intend to maintain this calendar, and this is why we, as a council, decided to forego 4 months of our tenure to return to the provisions of our enabling law. We would have had this in August, but we said no, we'll sacrifice 4 months of our tenure just to bring it back on course. In the same measure, our efforts at fighting quackery in the profession has yielded an appreciable level of compliance in public and private organizations. Though challenges still persist, especially in government establishments, where they employ half-baked, half-cooked, uncooked, unbaked people that are interloping to be PR professionals to handle PR job. And we have been seeing the outcome, sometimes very disastrous, because you cannot give what you don't have. The chairman of Enforcement and Compliance Committee, Major General Chris Olukolade, fellow of the Institute, and his team have developed a robust standing operating procedure for NIPR Act enforcement and compliance, which will commence very soon. Council, at its 110th meeting in Abeokuta, looked at this and felt that we should give it a final touch, because even in compliance and enforcement, we must remain professionals of excellence. So the way we do things must speak for us. NPR week, we already have seen the takeoff of the week, and we are very, very grateful to those of them that have put this together under the leadership of Chief Yomi Badejo Okusonya, supported by his Vice Chairman, Council Member Tokwe Adaramola, and their members for a superlative display of boldly public relations. Indeed, we must also commend our host chapter, Ogun State, led by Mrs. Oluwaseun Boye, who constituted the local organizing committee. We appreciate you all. The next Public Relations Week will now hold in Akwa Ibom State. Nigerian Public Relations Definition Project, we discovered that we have been quoting other definitions. Mexican statement, American definition, Spanish definition, South African definition, but the question is, where is your own definition? If other nations say that they are what we call gateways, like Ghana will say that they are gateway to Africa, and others will say other things, Nigeria remains the destination. And as the destination, we must do things differently. We have a unique society, and because it is unique, we should have a definition of public relations practice that will be in line with what we represent. And for this reason, we set up a committee led by Professor Rotimi Oladele, FNIPR, former president of the Institute, with very senior practitioners for them to sit and give us definition. They gave us 3 options, and the Educational Advisory Board is fine-tuning this, and very soon we'll make it public. Number 25, National Order of Precedence. Distinguished colleagues, I don't know how you feel, but it's important to emphasize that Nigeria, 64 years, does not have a current national order of precedence. We have what we are using for different programs. National Assembly has their own, or its own. Executive has its own. When you go to the states, it's a different thing. Recently, the former Speaker of House of Reps, when he was in office, traveled to a state, and there was a battle. Who comes first in order of precedence? Because there is none. So the Institute has now decided to produce a draft national order of precedence, because protocol resides with us, and we are taking up this responsibility for the nation. We are already collaborating with our members in the National Assembly, so that when the draft is ready, we will work with them to present it as a bill to the National Assembly. To this end, we set up a team under the leadership of Mrs. Nkechi Ale Balogun to produce this world-class national order of precedence. And we are expecting their report and the draft bill any moment from now to begin to engage the National Assembly. Nigeria Reputation Management Group. Reputation, we often say, is a core asset. This is the case for individuals, governments, organizations, as the case may be. As a result of this, we have instituted the Nigeria Reputation Management Group under the leadership of the former Vice President of the Institute, a fellow of the Institute, and the current CGC, that's Controller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, fellow of the Institute, supported by Chief Yomi Badejo, coming in as the Director General of the Nigeria Reputation Management Group. Many of us are familiar with Nigeria Economic Summit Group. This is a reputation arm that will support the Economic Management Group. 4 programs are already underlined for this: Nigeria Reputation Fair, Nigeria Reputation Summit, Nigeria Perception Index, and Nigeria Reputation House, which will be sited in Abuja. The Ministry of Federal Capital Territory in 2022 gave a princely land to the Institute to site the National or the Nigerian Reputation House, where we can now begin to help in redefining the reputation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are grateful to the former Minister of FCT for giving us this honor after 10 years on the saddle, and this is one of the things that the immediate past council led by Malam Mukhtar Sirajo handed over to us. Membership benefits. Members have been asking, what are our benefits? Council has come up with so many benefits, apart from the one I have already mentioned, and Madam Chair, as we call her, who is leading the membership service committee in collaboration with the National Secretariat, led by Tonia Monye team, have designed an effective package which will be presented later if time permits. Part 3, as I begin to round up, future forward. Distinguished colleagues, it is worthy to note that these sustained efforts of the current council are aimed at reinforcing the structures in place while opening new vistas for the Institute. The Institute is faced with the challenge of befitting office accommodation at National Secretariat as well as the Lagos Liaison Office. We are still on rented premises. But I'm glad that the Minister of Information is addressing the one of National Secretariat, and by the grace of God, very soon things will be different. We still need the intervention of Lagos State Government, and I'm glad that the President of PR CAN is here, who is a personal friend of the Governor of Lagos State, and I know that he loves this institute, and I know that very soon he will call us to come and commission the Lagos National Secretariat of the Institute. You don't want to clap for him? The opportunity of serving as your president and interacting widely with stakeholders within and outside the profession have exposed me to the challenges of our profession, some of which I have mentioned, others I will give credence to. One, lack of clarity to public, elite and otherwise others on what public relations is about. Only 2 days ago, we had the governor of Ogun State tell us that he had always mistaken public relations with media. And until he realized that media relations is one out of the many services of public relations. Media relations is a tool that works with public relations. And that's why we are reaching out to our brothers in the media profession so that they can take their place and then we begin to work better. So we have a lot of advocacy to make in this area. 2, lack of understanding by policymakers, especially those in government, on the role and value of public relations in national development and why they have to allow professionals to do the work. It's only when they run into crisis that they begin to look for us to help them with crisis communication. But you see, if they understand, they will know that it is cheaper to mitigate crisis by doing the right thing by the right professionals than waiting until when there is a problem. This implies a lot of work for us. Future-proofing of future-forwarding public relations in Nigeria must begin, therefore, with a conscious dawning that we are not on ground. We are still to get there. The reality is that the value we give to our profession and our institute is tantamount to the value that the leadership at government and non-governmental level we give to it. My dear colleagues, as members of a highly prized and cherished profession, we have to take full responsibility for the future of our institute and our profession. As practitioners, we should advocate, promote, present, package, represent, and position our institute and our profession as a very serious and value-loaded organization at all times. This is what other professional groups have done for their own professions that have given them the value they enjoy in the polity. Our people say, as you make your bed, so shall you lie on it. The council, which I lead, is very committed to dedicating and rededicating ourselves to continue sacrificing for the best outcome for the Institute. However, we cannot do this alone, and this is why we are calling for your partnership to work with us. May I say a big thank you to all those that have since seen the need for this gospel that I preach and have joined the team of evangelism class to promote our profession and our institute. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I would like to inform us that Council is not joking about establishing the finishing school and the university. To this end, we have decided at our 110th meeting here in Abeokuta to appoint a project coordinator to drive the implementation and takeoff of the school and university. Conclusion, I must say that I am proud of being a public relations practitioner. I thank God that He rejected me when I wanted to read law and caused me to be in this profession. I couldn't have been something else than a public relations practitioner. As we continue, I would like to thank the team that I have as council members. Very committed, very dedicated, very supportive. It's been a lot of work. We have only been in office for 8 months and we have met several times. Most times we start our meeting, sometimes if it's virtual, by 8 p.m. and we don't close until 1 or 2 a.m. The one we had here in Abeokuta started by 9 a.m. and we finished by 2 p.m. This is the kind of council that we have, and I want to thank all of you for your support. I want to also thank members of the Secretariat, National Secretariat at Abuja and those at Lagos office. These are professionals who are serving and doing their best to ensure that we make the mark we want to make. It is indeed a new dawn, and together we can continue to elevate the practice of public relations in Nigeria and beyond. While I thank you, I make haste to declare once more that I am boldly public relations. Thank you.
A standing ovation for Mr. PR President. Mr. President, NIPR. Very distinguished council members, boldly public relations. Say that if you are. If you can't say that now because you are not a member, join as quickly as you can. There's still opportunity before it gets tougher because it's now very hot to join. Please be seated. Very distinguished professional colleagues.
FNIPR. President and Chairman of Council, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in Nigeria.
We're
He
moving
has
on
been
to
telling
the
us
AGM,
all
which will
that we
be
need
set
to know
up very quickly
about
now,
NIPR and the progress of work
start
at
the AGM.
the commencement of the annual general meeting of the Institute. This was earlier preceded by the vote of thanks on behalf of the recipients by the Director General NTA, who says the award is only will only spur him further for greater works. And so it is for other members who have been awarded Honorary Fellow of the NIPR, and of course the Distinguished Fellows of the NIPR. I said 53 new members have been added from across the country as new members of the NIPR at this very worthy occasion. And of course, we had 17 students from Chrisland University and Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, both in Ibadan, who have already become student members of the NIPR. The program continues with activities marking the annual general meeting of the institute.
Just been decorated from the FCT. Please quickly come forward for photograph with all FCT chapter members while the setup is going on. We do that very, very quickly. FCT, the numero uno chapter. We also invite the secretary to INEC, Mrs. Rose Oriaran, to please quickly join them. All our newly decorated fellows of the FCT. This is specific for the FCT. Please join them. Of course, we are also privileged to have the honorary fellow Jake Epele of the FCT. So, honorary fellow Jake Epele, please join us. Director General of the FRC and Dr. Mohammed Babagana Bulama, very distinguished, is also joining. Very, very special numero uno chapter. Dr. Sonny Baba is also live and there for the FCT. Very eminent Benga Onoiga, Kabiesi Hastrop of the FCT. The Vice President is a distant member of the FCT, but we always we need to wait for Mr. President, who is, of course, of the FCT. Associate members, be ready. Students, newly inducted, be ready for special photograph. The newly inducted students, be ready. We'll just wait for the president. He will join us in a bit. Mr. Registrar is off the FCT. He needs to join this picture. If you are getting jealous, you can change chapter. You can change chapter. Some people are harassing me here, but I have the mic. Mr. President will join us in a bit.
In the middle, the chair in the middle, where the president, vice and secretary is from. Check the middle. Actually, I think that is primary to this picture. Am I correct? That exposure is primary to us to this picture. So I can't go and pull him out.
We're getting set for the AGM. The setup is being done. While this is going on, we're taking pictures. Shortly, the president joins the FCT special photograph session. After that, the graduates, newly inducted, will have a photograph session. We'll also have the members and associates photograph session.
If not for photographs, more photographs, and indeed more photographs,
like the FCT,
marking the 61st annual general meeting and inductions of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. The venue is June 12 Cultural Heritage, Abeokuta, Ogun State.
All chapters who want special photograph
Need I remind you very quickly again that NIPR was established in 1963.
That's after the photograph of the
bringing it to
inductee.
60 years. And
All
of course,
chapters
diamond
want
in the
special
life of
photograph
any
session
individual or
with their
association
newly decorated
is a
fellows.
worthy
Please indicate
number.
very quickly so we can
In
take you.
1972, the association metamorphosed into Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR. Some of its activities, once again, are registration of members, regulation of the practice and development of PR profession in Nigeria, as well as monitoring professional conduct through established code of conduct regime. Can I remind you that the NIPR
Mr. President will
objectives
quickly join the
are
picture.
to
Cross River
promote,
State Chapter,
develop the art
Kaduna
and
Chapter,
science of public relations practice in Nigeria,
Lagos
to
chapter,
establish and prescribe, as
Abia
well as
chapter
ensure the
will
observance
have
of
special
high
photograph
standards
sessions too.
of professional
Mr. President is
and
joining.
ethical standards.
Kwara chapter will
With
have
all
special
that we have
photograph
seen
session.
and heard today, indeed, Nigeria is set to blaze the trail in the area of public relations, not only in Africa, but across the continents of the world.
Okay. Quickly, we'll take this photograph quickly. AGM starts very shortly. All the associates get ready. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're done. Associates, please come. Newly inducted associates, quickly. Quickly. Newly inducted associates, quickly, quickly, quickly. Quickly, very quickly. Newly inducted associates and members, quickly. All the students get ready. Newly inducted associates and members, quickly, quickly, quickly. Quickly, quickly. Please remember that Lagos chapter, Rivers chapter, Kwara chapter, Cross River chapter, Kaduna chapter will be taking special photograph later. Niger chapter will also be taken.
Then when we continue tomorrow by 10 we'll be in Bauchi. Maybe we'll be in Ilori from here to Ilori and the 8 hours. So when we go there,
Delta.
that is what we spent in the early morning. We started. We came here 11. What we have got a lot of protocol. No, I know. This is we wanted to leave before. We thought the induction and the AGM will last for 1 day.
Okay, quickly, quickly. We're taking this photograph quickly.
We are closing 1.
The closing time in the brochure, what was it?
All the students in the for the student membership, please, can you please stand up and start walking towards the aisle for your pictures, please? Stand up now, please, and file out quickly, please.
All students, come up.
Please, let's make this snappy. We are starting the AGM now, please. Photographers, are you done? All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Please, all the students, file out now. Thank you, associates. Thank you. All the students, please, can you make it snappy? Walk up here like a student.
The Nigerian Public Relations Week
We will do that later. Okay, please,
was
this way.
initiated as an innovation to demonstrate
Please,
the
let's
immense
make
value
it.
of public relations to nation building and national development. In the past, there were only a day or two set aside for conference and AGM. This new innovation of a week, according to the president, allows a whole full week dedicated to learning, relaxing, networking, and celebrating public relations in a host state on a dedicated subject relevant to the nation. This inaugural edition is currently holding here in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. And it has as its theme leveraging public relations as a critical asset for Nigeria's economic and reputation renaissance. We have participants drawn from across the country, and indeed it has been a time of networking, a time of knowing each other more intimately, and as the President said, the next week-long program of activities, which will also be holding in the 4th month of next year, will be taking its torch to Akwa Ibom, talking about Uyo, the Akwa Ibom capital.
And all the other chapters who have signified will have photograph immediately when we're done. I now hand over to the Director Programs of the NIPR, Mr. Stanley Ogadigo, FNIPR.
Thank you very much, Tokwe, the golden voice of the Institute. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, we're about to call the meeting to order. All members of the Institute, please, you are expected to sit behind. All members of the Institute, including the students, please, you are expected to sit down for this very important meeting. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on this note, we have come to the end of the first session of today's program. Please, let's settle down before I hand over the microphone to the registrar, who is going to take us through the next session. Let's settle down, please. Very, very importantly, all members of the NIPR, please, to sit behind for this very important annual general meeting. Let's be seated, please. We just have an hour and we'll be done with that. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let all council members please come up. All council members, please file to the podium, please, and take your appropriate seat. Thank you very much, Mr. Tokwe Ojeme, Dr. Tokwe Ojeme, the Public Relations Officer of the FCT chapter of the NIPR. Thank you very much for making the Institute proud through your very excellent moderation. Please, we have a pair of glasses up here. If it's yours, please.
The week-long program of activities marking the maiden NIPR week is gradually winding down with the annual general meeting that is on the way. By the investiture of honorary and fellowship awards and distinguished fellows, including induction of new members, among whom are 17 students of Chrisland University, Abeokuta, and Moshood Abiola University. And now, on behalf of the entire outside broadcast crew of the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest television network, we say a very big thank you for staying tuned. We now join the studios for the continuation of our programs. Thank you for watching.